Let me ask you something that nobody ever thinks to ask. When you wake up tomorrow morning, before you even get out of bed, how does your body feel? Not how rested you feel. Not whether you got 8 hours. But how does your actual physical body feel the moment you open your eyes? Is your lower back stiff? Is your neck tight? Are your shoulders aching before the day has even started? Do you feel like you need another hour of sleep even though you just had a full night? Most seniors chalk those feelings up to age. To arthritis. To just the way things are now. But here is the truth that most people never hear: a significant portion of the morning stiffness, the overnight pain, the fatigue that doesn't make sense, the headaches that appear from nowhere, the breathing problems, the circulation issues, the acid reflux that hits at 2 a.m., all of it can trace directly back to one thing. The position your body is in for 6 to 8 hours every single night. Not your mattress. Not your age. Not an unsolvable medical mystery. The position. And this is not a small thing. Think about what 6 to 8 hours actually means. If you sleep 7 hours a night, that is over 2,500 hours per year that your body spends in whatever position you default to. That is 2,500 hours of either support and restoration, or 2,500 hours of quiet, cumulative, compounding damage to your spine, your airways, your circulation, your nerves, and your organs. Night after night. Year after year. With no dramatic warning signs until the damage has already been building for a long time. Today, we are going through 6 specific sleeping positions that are particularly harmful for people over 60. Some of these will surprise you because they seem perfectly reasonable or even healthy on the surface. Others you may have been doing your entire adult life without ever questioning them. And for each one, we are going to cover exactly what it is doing to your body, why it hits seniors harder than younger adults, and most importantly, what small, simple adjustments make all the difference. Stay with me through to the last one because position 6 is the one most people assume is completely safe, and it comes with hidden risks that most seniors have absolutely no idea about. Let's get into it. Position number 1, and this one catches people off guard because it sounds like it should be perfectly fine. Lying flat on your back with your arms straight down at your sides. This is the position most people picture when they imagine a healthy sleeping posture. Neutral. Aligned. Spine straight. It's how mattress companies demonstrate their products. It looks correct. It looks almost clinical in its tidiness. But here is what actually happens to your body when you sleep this way, specifically, your body after 60. When you lie completely flat with no support under your knees or lower back, the natural curves of your spine lose their support. Your lumbar spine, the lower back, has a gentle inward curve that needs to be maintained even during sleep. When you lie flat on a firm surface without anything supporting that curve, gravity slowly flattens it. The muscles and ligaments surrounding your lower vertebrae are placed under sustained tension for hours. You don't feel it while you're asleep. But when you wake up, that dull ache in your lower back that takes 30 minutes of moving around to loosen up? That is the accumulated tension of a full night spent with your lumbar curve unsupported. Then there is the airway problem. When you lie flat on your back, gravity acts on the soft tissues of your throat. Your tongue relaxes backward. The soft palate shifts. The airway narrows. For younger adults with strong respiratory muscle tone, this is manageable. But after 60, respiratory muscle strength naturally declines. The tissues of the throat lose some of their firmness. And that narrowed airway during flat back sleeping can cause partial obstruction, reduced oxygen flow throughout the night without full clinical sleep apnea. Reduced overnight oxygenation is not a minor inconvenience. Chronic mild oxygen desaturation during sleep is directly linked to elevated blood pressure, increased cardiovascular strain, cognitive impairment over time, and a quality of sleep so degraded that 8 hours leaves you feeling like you only had 5. Think about a man named Henry. 74 years old. Disciplined, health-conscious, ate well, walked daily. couldn't understand why he woke up drained every single morning despite consistently getting a full night's sleep. A sleep study found mild oxygen desaturation happening repeatedly throughout the night. Not sleep apnea technically, just the angle of his airway lying completely flat. His doctor made 2 suggestions. Elevate the head of the bed by about 10 degrees. And place a small pillow under his knees to restore the natural lumbar curve. That was it. 2 pillows. Within weeks, Henry's morning energy improved noticeably. His blood pressure reading stabilized. He started remembering his dreams again, something he hadn't experienced in years, which is actually a sign of accessing deeper, more restorative sleep stages. If you sleep on your back and want to keep doing so, you absolutely can. But never flat and never unsupported. A pillow under your knees takes pressure off your lower back immediately. A slight head elevation keeps your airway open. These are not dramatic changes. They are the difference between your body restoring itself overnight and your body quietly struggling. Position number 2, and this one feels so natural, so instinctively comforting, that most people never question it for a second. The fetal position, curled too tightly. Curling up on your side with your knees drawn toward your chest is one of the most common sleep positions among adults of all ages. It feels safe. Warm. It taps into something deep and instinctive. And a moderate side-lying position with slightly bent knees is actually a reasonable sleep position for seniors. The problem is when that curl becomes tight. Knees pulled all the way up. Chin tucked down toward the chest. Back rounded completely. Arms folded in. And staying in that tight curl for hours. Here is what that position does to your body through the night. When your knees are pulled tightly to your chest, and your chin is tucked down, you compress your chest cavity. Your lungs cannot fully expand. You spend the night breathing shallowly, not deeply. And shallow breathing during sleep means less oxygen reaching your brain during the critical repair and restoration processes that only happen during deep sleep. The mental fog, the grogginess, the anxiety that seems to come from nowhere in the morning, these are frequently the downstream effects of a night spent breathing at 30% of your lung capacity because your chest was compressed. Then there is what sleep therapists call postural memory. Your body adapts to the positions it spends the most time in. After 60, that adaptation happens faster and reverses more slowly than it did when you were younger. If your spine spends 6 to 8 hours every night in a tight, rounded curl, that is the shape your spine begins to remember. Your neck shifts forward. Your upper back rounds. Your chest caves slightly inward. Over months and years, this contributes to the forward hunched posture, medically called kyphosis, that is so common in older adults, and that causes cascading problems with balance, digestion, breathing capacity, and fall risk. Think about a woman named Shirley. 78 years old. After losing her husband, she found herself sleeping in an increasingly tight fetal curl, knees pulled as high as they could go, arms wrapped tightly around herself. Didn't connect it to anything. Then she started waking with chest tightness, persistent neck pain, and a heaviness she couldn't explain. Her doctor found nothing physically wrong in standard testing. A physical therapist noticed her posture and asked about her sleep position. The therapist helped Shirley modify her curl. Keep the side-lying position but let the knees drop lower. Open the chest slightly. Use a body pillow in front to provide the sense of security that the tight curl had been providing without requiring the chest compression to achieve it. Within weeks, Shirley's morning chest tightness resolved. Her neck pain eased. She described feeling lighter, both physically and in her mood, in a way she hadn't felt in years. If you curl up to sleep, don't stop entirely. Just soften it. Let your knees drop a few inches. Open your chest. Give your lungs room to do their job while you sleep. Your body will do the rest. Position number 3, and for lifelong stomach sleepers this one is genuinely hard to hear but genuinely important. Sleeping on your stomach. Stomach sleeping is one of those habits that people often develop in childhood or early adulthood and maintain for decades without ever revisiting. It feels comfortable. Familiar. Some people feel they simply cannot sleep any other way. But for the body after 60, stomach sleeping is quietly one of the most physically demanding positions you can sustain through the night. Let's start with your neck. When you sleep face down, you cannot breathe into the mattress, so your neck must twist sharply to one side and stay there for hours. That sustained rotation creates enormous tension in the cervical muscles. It compresses the vertebrae on the twisted side. It stretches the muscles on the other side past their comfortable range. And it reduces blood flow through the arteries in the neck that supply your brain. Morning headaches that appear without an obvious cause. Neck stiffness that takes half the morning to work out. Tingling or numbness in the arms. These are classic signs of stomach sleeping damage in seniors. Then there is the spine. When you lie on your stomach, your abdomen and hips sink into the mattress, creating an exaggerated arch in your lower back. That hyperextended lumbar position places continuous compressive force on the small joints between your vertebrae, the facet joints, and on the intervertebral discs. For younger spines with full disc hydration and strong surrounding muscles, this compressive force is absorbed reasonably well. For spines after 60 where disc height has naturally reduced, and the surrounding musculature has some degree of age-related weakening, that compression accelerates worsens existing arthritis, and generates the kind of deep lumbar ache that is genuinely difficult to treat because it never gets a break to recover. And then there is breathing. Face-down sleeping restricts chest expansion just like tight fetal curling does, but from a different mechanism. The weight of your body pressing down against your mattress limits how fully your lungs can expand with each breath. Shallow overnight breathing. Reduced respiration. Increased morning grogginess. Think about a man named Richard. 72 years old, retired firefighter, stomach sleeper his entire adult life. Developed nagging back pain and persistent morning headaches that no physician could fully explain for years. A sleep therapist finally asked about his position. Richard experimented, reluctantly, because changing a decades-long habit felt almost impossible, using a wedge pillow system to train himself toward side sleeping gradually. Within weeks, the headaches stopped. Within a month, his back pain had reduced significantly. He told his therapist he didn't realize how much pressure he'd been carrying until it was finally gone. Transitioning away from stomach sleeping takes time and patience. Use a firm body pillow in front of you to prevent rolling back onto your stomach. If you're making a gradual transition, placing a pillow under your hips while still partly on your stomach reduces the lumbar hyperextension while you adjust. Progress matters more than perfection here. Position number 4, and this one catches seniors off guard because it often starts as a solution to a real problem. Sleeping in a reclined sitting position, either in a recliner chair or propped up in bed with a stack of pillows, creating a semi-sitting angle. Many seniors end up here because of acid reflux. Or breathing difficulties. Or back pain that makes lying flat uncomfortable. And for those conditions, in the short term, elevating the upper body genuinely helps. The problem is when the semi-sitting position becomes the primary way of sleeping night after night, because what solves one problem quietly creates several others. Start with the spine. A recliner or a pile of stacked pillows doesn't support your spine in a neutral position. Your upper back curves forward. Your neck tilts, either drooping forward as muscles relax during sleep or tilting sideways. Your lumbar region is neither flat nor properly supported. You spend 6 to 8 hours in a position that is essentially a slightly reclined version of how you sit in a chair. And your spine adapts to that shape over time, the same way it would adapt to any sustained posture. Then there is circulation. In a semi-sitting position, your hips remain partially flexed, and your knees stay bent for hours. Blood circulation in the legs becomes compromised. Fluid pools. You wake up with swollen ankles. Leg cramps. That feeling of heaviness in the lower limbs takes walking around to resolve. For seniors with already reduced circulatory efficiency, this is not just uncomfortable. Prolonged poor circulation in the legs increases the risk of clot formation, contributes to the development of varicose veins, and causes the kind of chronic leg discomfort that significantly reduces quality of life. And then there is the quality of sleep itself. Muscle relaxation during sleep is never complete in a recliner or semi-sitting position. Your body maintains a degree of postural muscle engagement throughout the night. The muscles that keep you from slumping completely never fully let go. It is exactly like trying to charge your phone while running multiple applications simultaneously. You never reach full charge. People who sleep this way consistently describe sleeping but not resting. Getting hours but not recovery. Think about a man named Gary. 74 years old, veteran, developed acid reflux and began sleeping in his recliner to manage it. The reflux improved. But within months, he was waking with hand numbness, a chronically sore neck, and swollen ankles every morning. His doctor identified the recliner as the source of the new problems even as it managed the old one, and suggested an adjustable bed frame that could elevate the head properly while still allowing him to lie horizontally. That position, torso slightly elevated, legs fully extended, spine supported, addressed the reflux without creating the circulation and postural problems the recliner had caused. If you need upper body elevation for health reasons, get it through proper tools. An adjustable bed base. A wedge pillow designed specifically for sleeping rather than a stack of regular pillows. The elevation needs to support the entire upper torso uniformly, not just prop the head up while the rest of your back curves and rounds underneath. Position number 5. And this one overlaps with position 3, but with specific additional concerns worth understanding separately. Sleeping face down with the head rotated to one side for extended periods. We covered stomach sleeping in general terms already, but the specific face down variant where your head is turned hard to one side and stays there for the entire night deserves its own conversation because of what it does specifically to the cervical spine and the neurological structures it houses. The cervical spine, the 7 vertebrae in your neck, is one of the most vulnerable areas of the skeleton in older adults. Age-related changes, including reduced disc height, bone spur formation, and natural ligament stiffening, mean that the cervical spine after 60 has significantly less tolerance for sustained abnormal loading than it did at 40. Lying face down with your head rotated hard to one side for hours creates a specific compression pattern on the vertebral joints on the rotation side and a sustained stretch on the opposite side. Over time, this contributes to accelerated wear of the facet joints in the neck, nerve root compression that produces radiating pain or tingling into the arms and hands, and, in some cases, the compression of the vertebral arteries that run through the cervical vertebrae and supply blood to the brainstem and cerebellum. Chronic compression of these arteries during sleep has been associated with morning dizziness, balance disturbances, and the kind of cervical vertigo that sends seniors to neurologists and ENT specialists without anyone ever connecting it to a sleep position. Then there is the jaw. Hours of sustained head rotation create asymmetric tension through the muscles of the jaw and face. Seniors who sleep face down often develop jaw tightness, teeth grinding, and temporomandibular joint discomfort, TMJ, that they never connect to their sleep position. Think about a woman named Linda. 71 years old, lifelong stomach sleeper, started developing severe morning backaches and headaches in recent years. Also noticed occasional dizziness when getting up. Her physical therapist worked with her on transitioning to side sleeping using a body pillow for support. It felt completely unnatural for the first 2 weeks. She persisted. 1 month in her sleep was deeper than it had been in years. The morning headaches had stopped. The dizziness on getting up resolved. Her back pain has reduced significantly. She told her therapist the hardest part was getting past the first week of discomfort when the new position felt wrong. After that, her body adjusted faster than she expected, and she wondered how many years of pain she could have avoided if she'd made the change sooner. Position number 6, and this is the one most people assume is completely safe. The one that gets recommended everywhere. The one that sounds like the obvious healthy choice. Unsupported back sleeping. We talked in position 1 about flat back sleeping with arms at the sides. This is the broader category, back sleeping in general, without proper support for the spine's natural curves. And it deserves its own dedicated conversation because it is genuinely the most common sleep position among American seniors and because the specific risks it carries are almost universally unknown. When you are young, your lumbar spine's natural inward curve is maintained during back sleeping by strong surrounding musculature and full disc hydration. Your body essentially holds itself in the right shape even lying flat. After 60, that is no longer reliably the case. Muscle tone in the core and lumbar region declines. Disc hydration decreases. The natural curve flattens. And when you lie flat on your back without any support under the lumbar region or the knees, gravity pulls your pelvis into a posterior tilt and your lower back arches upward away from the mattress surface in a way that places sustained compressive force on exactly the structures most vulnerable to age-related degeneration. The result is the morning hamstring tightness, the hip aching, the lower back stiffness that so many seniors experience every single day, and assume is simply their arthritis or their age. In many cases, it is their sleep position. Then there is the risk of sleep apnea. Back sleeping is the highest risk position for airway obstruction, significantly more so than side sleeping. The tongue and soft palate fall backward with gravity. The airway narrows. Even seniors who do not have diagnosed sleep apnea frequently experience subclinical airway narrowing during back sleeping that reduces overnight oxygenation, disrupts sleep architecture, and leaves them chronically underrestored despite adequate hours in bed. Chronic low-level overnight oxygen reduction, even without a formal sleep apnea diagnosis, is now linked in research to accelerated cognitive decline, increased cardiovascular risk, and impaired overnight brain clearance of the metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours and must be cleared during sleep. This is not minor. This is your brain's literal cleaning cycle being disrupted every night. And for acid reflux, flat back sleeping without any head elevation allows stomach acid to migrate upward into the esophagus with essentially no gravitational resistance. That 2 a.m. is burning. That overnight cough. That morning, hoarseness. Back sleeping without elevation is frequently the cause or a significant contributor. Think about a man named George. 76 years old, retired school principal, had been sleeping flat on his back his entire adult life. Developed worsening lumbar stiffness, chronic morning fatigue, and started experiencing what his chiropractor identified as signs of chronic poor overnight recovery. George invested in a wedge pillow for his upper body and added a cylindrical pillow under his knees. The changes felt slightly awkward for the first few nights. By the end of the first week, his lower back was noticeably less stiff in the mornings. By the end of the second week, he was sleeping through the night more consistently. His chiropractor noted improved lumbar muscle relaxation at his next appointment. George said the whole thing cost him less than $50 in pillows and the difference was something he felt every single morning. If you are a back sleeper, stay on your back. It is a perfectly viable sleep position when done correctly. But done correctly means knees supported. Lumbar curve maintained. Head slightly elevated. Airway open. Acid is moving in the right direction. None of that requires expensive equipment. It requires knowing what your body needs and giving it the right support to get there. And here is what I want to leave you with as we close this out today. Sleep is not passive. It is the most active restoration process your body runs. Every night while you are unconscious, your brain is clearing metabolic waste. Your cardiovascular system is regulating. Your muscles are repairing. Your immune system is calibrating. Your hormonal systems are resetting. Your memories are consolidating. All of that biological work happens in the position you choose to sleep in. And if that position is compressing your airway, straining your spine, restricting your circulation, or creating sustained tension in structures that need to relax and recover, then 6 to 8 hours of sleep is not giving your body 6 to 8 hours of restoration. It is giving your body 6 to 8 hours of additional work to do on top of trying to restore itself. You deserve actual rest. Not just time in bed. Actual biological restoration. And it starts tonight. Before you lie down, think about what you learned today. Use a pillow under your knees. Soften your curl. Consider a wedge for your upper body if you need elevation. Stop putting your neck through 8 hours of rotation if you can help it. Give your lungs room to breathe and your spine the curves it needs. Small adjustments. Made consistently. They add up to something real. Better mornings. Clearer thinking. Less pain. More energy. A body that actually feels like it slept. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 6 positions do you recognize in yourself? And what are you going to change tonight? I read every single comment, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Share this video with someone you care about who wakes up sore and tired and has no idea why. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and ring that bell so you never miss content built specifically to help you age stronger, sleep better, and live with the comfort and energy you've earned. Take care of yourself tonight. And I'll see you in the next one.